Hello everyone, my name is Shubhansh Jain, and me along with my team members Cassandra, Muthuraja and Sudeep are going to present the movie recommendation system today. We are going to talk about the business problem that motivated us to create this system, how we converted that business problem into the analytics solution. We are also going to present the workflow for the solution, and finally the Shiny app. Talking about the business problem, in 2017, the US consumption for home entertainment over online platforms increased considerably, and the consumption over physical forms reduced drastically. We wanted online entertainment providers like Netflix and Amazon Prime to enable their users get better recommendations in forms of movies and other media digital forms. Now, my teammate Muthuraja will talk about the further implementation of the Shiny app system.
Now that we have looked at the business problem, now let us see how we are going to convert this business problem into analytics problem. Firstly, let us look at the objectives. From the user perspective, he needs the right movie recommendations according to the ratings that he has given for the few movies that he has selected. And secondly, from the company's perspective, they want to understand the behavioral patterns of various users so that when a new users join, they want to accurately give recommendation so that they will increase their revenues. So how are we going to do this? We are going to collect data about a lot of movies as well as the ratings given by the users. Once this data set has been collected, we have to see how we are going to look at the similarities of various users. So there are various measures of similarities like cosine similarity or Pearson correlation similarity or Jaccard similarity. So we can look at one of the similarities and we can look at k nearest neighbors for this particular new user. So once we have determined the k nearest neighbors, we can look at the movies that they liked so that we can recommend similar movies to the new user. Here we have to make sure that the movies that are recommended are as per his taste, the new user's taste. And secondly, we need to ensure that the filters chosen by the new user, like the year within which the movies have to fall and the genres which the new user has selected, only those movies have to be recommended to the new user. Here we are assuming that the genres in our database are coded correctly by the database administrator. Moving on, let us see how to solve this solution step by step. So the first step would be collecting data and pre-processing it, and second step would be creating a user rating matrix whereby we are looking at various users as well as their ratings and trying to identify the patterns. Thirdly, we are going to see various algorithms, which algorithm performs well, and we are going to choose that algorithm. And then we are going to design the user interface design, and we are going to make sure that it is intuitive for the user to use it without any external help. And then we are going to design the Shiny app and roll it out. So next, I would want to pass on to Sudeep, who will talk about data and the methodology.
So now that we know about the general flow of how we got our app, we would like to see how we got from getting our data to generating our Shiny app in the end. So we start with our data sources. We have two data sets. The first data set is the movie lens data, which is an open source database containing around 10,000 movies and around a lot of user ratings. The next data source we had was the TMDB data source, which had the metadata about all the movies, which included genre, synopsis, IMDb ID, the poster ID for these movies. So first, when we got our data, we go with the data pre-processing part where we clean all this data. So when we got our data, it was not clean. A lot of names were incorrect. We had to change all that. Then we had to change the IMDb IDs. And the next step we did was generate a matrix which had the movie names and the genre of that movie, so that it becomes easier for us later on to find the movies of a particular genre. So next we see how we filter n recommendations for each movies. So the first step we do is the min-max normalization. In this step, basically if a user generally gives higher ratings to movies, or if a user gives lower ratings to this movies, those scales are not equal. So we do a min-max normalization so that all the ratings given to movies are graded on an equal scale. Next, we go ahead and create a user rating matrix. As you can see on the screen, that shows a user rating matrix where users are the rows and the items, or movies in this case, are the columns. Each row and column shows what rating that user has given to that movie. And you might see a lot of question marks right there. Those question marks means that that particular user has not watched that movie yet, so he has not rated that movie. So with that, the orange user is our active user for which we will be finding movie recommendations. We try to find the nearest 30 neighbors in this case according to cosine similarity. So the blue users, as you can see on the matrix, are those users which we found are the nearest neighbors to our active user. So we do an average of the movies ratings for these similar users, and then we generate another rating matrix from which we generate the top 10 recommendations for every user. So with this, I would like to invite Cassandra to show you how cool our app is. So Cassandra.
Okay, right now I'm very excited to share with you our Shiny app. Okay, so here is our Shiny app user interface. As you can see, our user interface have 3 tabs, which is our recommend movie, search movie, and about. So in our main tab, we actually have 2 panels. On the left panels, you can actually allow each user to select up to 3 genres, which the user are very interested in. For example, I'm going to do one example right now. So for our first genre, I personally very enjoy musical movie, so I will choose musical. And then the second genre, I will just keep it as action. And for the third genre, I will choose animation. Yes, animation. So on the right panel, we actually can choose our favorite movie according to each genre. For example, I choose the musical movie as my first genre, so I will choose a my favorite music movie, which is The Phantom of Opera. Yes, Phantom of Opera. And then for my action movie, I like Avengers. And for the search genre, animation, let's try Finding Nemo. Okay. Our Shiny app actually has additional 2 cool features, which is we can actually filter our recommended movies by year. So for example, I'm not interested in classic movie. I would like to see some movie in recent years. So I can actually choose my slider, and then I will do 2015. On right, select genre, this is optional. If we don't choose any genre, the system will generate 10 recommended movie for me, and which according to my chosen genre. But what if I only want to see action movie? I can choose action only, and then it will give me the 10 recommended movie only in action movie. So right now I'm seeing the 10 recommended movie, and I'm quite interested in this movie called Paycheck. But I have never seen this movie, I never heard of it. I want to know more information about this movie. We can actually go back to the top to look into our second tab, which is search movie. Paycheck. Okay, now it will give me the movie name with the movie year, and then the overview of the movie plot, and then it will also give me a poster. But if I want to know more information about maybe actors, and then directors, the system actually also generates a IMDb link for that. So I can actually click to it and then to see more information about this movie. I just introduced you about our Shiny app user interface. I know it's super cool and it runs everything so fast, but we still acknowledge some limitation of our app. since we are using the user-based collaborative filtering, it actually generates the whole user rating matrix. And when the user number becomes extremely big, and then it becomes computational expensive to perform this algorithm. So our app isn't scaled to that level yet. So for our future scope, we were trying to generate an algorithm that subset the similar users and then generate this new user rating matrix. And then hopefully will solve our problem and then to off scalability. Actually, we haven't shown you the third tab yet. The third tab contains all the information about all the developers. So if you have any questions, please reach out to us. And then if you are sitting on Sunday afternoon and then you really want to watch a nice movie, please try out our Shiny app. And then hopefully this app will give you some good recommendation of the movie and then make your Sunday even better. Don't forget. Thank you.